this time around. Officio, I never thought we'd be here. I'll be honest. I thought 2-0 could have gone either way. Start of the day, I may have predicted Roccat. The analyst desk may have, or did predict G2, but game 3 here, a lot more parity between these teams than we expected.
Yeah, I mean, last game was basically decided around the mid lane early on with Orianna Kha'Zix winning. Game 1 obviously was Xayah and Rakan. I think if you're G2 Esports, with your only 3 bans, remove the Xayah. You don't have to worry about Rakan then. People don't really pick him on his own. But they might just ban Rakan as well and just be like, just be done with it. We know Zag is not a thing in this game for some reason. So that means you actually just have to ban those 2 champions. And then you can very clearly still play the game despite having 3 subs.
Yeah, I don't really understand why we're not seeing Zach. That one's still confusing to me, and I guess we'll find out as we get ready to move into Champion Select here. But have to keep our eyes on what's going to change, because we saw huge changes between Game 1 and Game 2 in terms of picks and bans. Xayah and Rakan were deemed worthy to be on that ban table. We'll see if that's still the case here.
Yeah, I mean, G2 banned Lucian in the first game, which actually kind of helped Roccat, judging from the Lucian performance in Game 2. So no Lucian ban this time if you are G2. Just ban Xayah, heck, even ban Rakan. Just get rid of those 2 champions because you clearly are not too comfortable playing against them. If they're actually leaving both open again, then they're complete madmen.
Well, I like that G2 are just consistently limiting what Foxy can do, identifying him as a threat. They say, hey, Sendo, not a guy we have as much experience playing with. We don't want to put him into a situation where Foxy can just get control of the lane. They consistently ban that cannon out. Maybe we'll see the Fiora banned again, too.
Okay.
Will be the case.
So it was Lucian last time. I think now, what I would do with my last ban is G2 is just ban Xayah. And say, yes, you might get Rakan then, but he's not as strong on his own. So I'll just get rid of Xayah, personally. And then it doesn't even matter if they take the Lee Sin, because you just get Elise. Like, you can just actually get rid of Rakan. So Xayah should be the first pick for Roccat.
More worried about the reliable engage that Rakan does bring to the table. And now we have to wonder what Roccat are going to pick up here.
Xin Zhao, of course.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But while we're focusing on what could be the first rotation, we should also talk about the options available to Roccat. Xayah, the obvious first pick, but let's set our sights on the mid lane here, because Betsy is a guy who we've seen success on a decent number of champions, but that champion's name is not Lucian.
Yeah, unique champions like Swain, even Vladimir, who was the only one playing it in Europe at that point. Even the Nasus mid actually had a fine performance, funny enough, against G2. Those have kind of been the picks where Betsy's found success, not on Lucian specifically. We want to see more games from him before we can fully judge it, but last game wasn't great. Good pickup here for Sendo. He was fantastic on the Galio. Why not just take basically the same picks? Like, yes, Lee Sin is open, but the Kha'Zix worked really well for Lulex, trying to invade the enemy jungle here. And we know Blanc can still just take Orianna.
If Roccat don't take it here, they already flashed it. G2 thought about it, but the core of the composition could be there. And I like that Sven and Mythio are the guys willing to sacrifice themselves to give these big picks over to the newer members of the team.
Very true. Syndra is also something we want to see from Betsy again. This is a Pride Stalker special.
The Graves, yep.
Okay, yeah. Also a champion he's played quite a lot of, but of course Rengar is the thing he got kind of famous for in solo queue, the one-trick Rengar player. There's a Nasus hover, as we've seen before. Just give me Syndra if you are Roccat and you want to play super safe.
Nope. They want to give you Lulu for now.
They can still pick Syndra later, don't worry.
Very true. G2, of course, no bans in the second ban phase.
Which is why
been penalized.
If they want to stick to the same, Orianna is then an option here. But otherwise, you can pick your support if you don't want to get banned out completely. For Mythi, 80 carry as well as another choice. I think support makes a lot of sense here, not to lose everything. And Karma is a flex, can still go mid. Roccat with 2 bans. I would get rid of Caitlyn if I'm on the side of Roccat. Probably just get rid of Ashe as well, or Varus, and then try and see if you can put Sven down. No, actually, get rid of Caitlyn and the Korkmore. Just get rid of both. Long-range champions, good against Xayah. He carried the last game, or he was one of the carries in the last game. Get rid of both, give him Ashe or Varus. That's my plan if I'm Roccat.
Definitely an option here. Plus the champions like Ashe, the champions like Varus, with the Feather Storm. Xayah does have the option to dodge a lot of those in-gauge abilities, but can't just dodge the consistent damage output that a pick like Kog'Maw now banned away.
So far. Caitlyn should be the other one. Trying to secure Roccat a good bottom lane here. Orianna obviously is the pick we're looking at for Blank in the mid lane, just like last game. But I think that's okay for Roccat to give over and just pick Syndra against it. I actually think Roccat will then have a very strong combo. We even see them go with the Graves, a champion that can survive early invades against him. Oftentimes, if you want to fight him in the jungle, he shoots you in the face with a Q that bounces on a wall, and then you just lose the trade. So, Caitlyn banned now, unless they are afraid of anything else.
There
I think
is,
that makes
Caitlyn.
sense.
Sven, what is he going to opt here for the 80 carry? He can last pick it if he wants to see how this composition will go up. But if he does that here, he will reveal where the karma is going to go. Is it going to be the mid lane? Is it going to be the support?
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you want your Orianna? You take it now then. If you just want to pick 80 carry and save last pick for Blanc or Mithy, that is also a very viable choice. And they do go with the Twitch. So, what do we get? Give me Syndra. Simple. Thank you.
Deficio, this is like the ask and you shall receive game. You called both bans. Now you call the
They're
Syndra.
pretty obvious bans. Don't want to get any credit for those. The Foxy Toxy Gnar. Is it happening? He's the only guy who could actually play Gnar right now.
Into the Galio too. Can bully out early. Yeah, he's gonna pick it. So this right here feels like a Roccat special. Pride Stalker Graves, a pick he is comfortable with. Well, Deed on an aggressive early laner like the Lulu, paired now with the Xayah. These guys are set up potentially to dominate here. And once again on the side of G2, feels like it could just be all about Sven.
Ooh, that is showing some confidence in their new mid laner for this game. Giving him the Fizz counter pick against Syndra. It is not that easy of a matchup to play, but Blanc here after going 9-1 on Orianna, feeling comfortable.
Tense spot to be in. Of course, a lot comes down to that playful trickster. Can you use it to dodge the unleashed power? Betsy, we'll see how he does. He's been struggling this series. There can be no doubt there, but maybe this is the game where he puts up some numbers and starts to carry this Roccat lineup. Either way, it's set to be pretty explosive. G2, lot of engaged potential with that Fizz, with that Kha'Zix and the Galio, and a lot of damage from Sven to back it up. But on the opposite side, we've got the Xayah. We saw her be so powerful in game one. But will she do the same when not paired by the Rakan?
I mean, that is the champion I would have liked to see banned by G2 and then leave the Rakan open. Xayah is often the one that actually enables Rakan to be picked, so you have them together here in the current meta. But still, G2 felt like they had no experience against Rakan, and it was a strong pick for what they did in the first game, so we can definitely understand why they went this route here. Overall, a great comp from G2 with, you know, once again the Galio top and a counter pick mid for Blanc here. However, I think Roccat are very happy because they're getting comfort picks in every single lane now. When you look at the carries, they'll be happy with the bot lane matchup, be very happy as well getting Syndra for Betsy.
Comfort pick coming in. Help them win in game one, but pressure is now on the side of Roccat, whereas G2 would be happy to pick up a win here. Roccat absolutely need to get it against the top European team. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, game three. Everything on the line for both these squads. Roccat, one win for themselves. G2, one win on the opposite side. And you got to thank for Roccat taking down a top team. Great way to start. And it doesn't get any easier to beat G2 if you can't do it today. Of course, 3 substitutes coming in. Game one, they really struggled to make an impact, but Sendo proved himself on this Galio. Lulex proved himself on the Kha'Zix. Blanc showed us an amazing Orianna game in game two. And now in game three, more pressure put onto him with this Fizz.
Yeah, I love the shift. You know, first game, he gets his karma, so he can just be a supportive. Then next game, they kind of trust in him a bit more to carry. And then third game, they trust him a lot. And Group A, you see right here, in case you have missed the groups, G2, Fnatic, Misfits Gaming, Roccat, and NIP. NIP, of course, the new team joining here the LCS with the Mysterious Monkeys, and it's a pretty tough group. Like when you have Fnatic and G2 already in a group, you know it's tough to go for the number 1 and 2 spots. But even the third one with Misfits Gaming, everyone's kind of looking at them to grab it. But both NIP and Roccat can definitely challenge for that third spot, but it would really help Roccat then to actually pick up a win here against such a weak G2 lineup with 3 subs, because they're not gonna have an easy time next time they play G2 with the full lineup.
And if we're honest, right now, coming into this season, it's hard to imagine any team beating a full 5 G2. Now, of course, teams can get better. G2 could be, you know, people could find weaknesses of G2, but if anyone has a shot right now, it is Roccat.
Definitely true. And Fnatic next week playing G2, where it is a full roster, but very limited practice from G2 Esports. I can definitely see Fnatic go in there and really challenge and probably even win this series. But that is next week. For now, it is Roccat versus G2. Faxi on his signature pick in the top lane. One of the champions that started the winning streak for Roccat last split.
And I like this. It may not be the Kennen, it may not be the Fiora, but it is still powerful in this lane. It can still hit that Galio. Maybe bully him out a little bit in this early laning phase. He taking a lot of poke there. But poking the champion not going to give you the wave pressure here, and it does mean potentially a faster level 2. Of course, Foxy is Gnar. You already brought it up, Deficio. Something we always have to talk about. 6 wins, 2 losses, 4.8 KDA.
And worth highlighting, Roccat as a team picked up 6 wins in the spring split.
Well,
series wins.
Yes, I was going to say, those are game wins. I'm like, all right.
I realized as soon as I said it, as soon as the words left my mouth, I'm like, wait a minute, they played more than 13 games. So that point was super bad. And we will all move on and just assume that Foxy won 3 series.
Guys, we'll give him this one.
Series.
Just pretend he didn't say anything. Foxy's got good Gnar numbers. That's the takeaway that you should have.
Yes.
He's an absolute threat on this Gnar. And Hjarnan a little bit more comfortable to be aggressive in this lane because he's no longer playing against that Caitlyn who was able to so easily mitigate a lot of what Xayah wanted to do.
Yeah, also has Lulu next to him, a stronger laner for him to back him up and support him with these early trades.
Fun fact, Twitch's poison doesn't actually do damage to Xayah until it has 3 stacks. Otherwise, the Doran's shield regeneration cancels out that damage perfectly.
Add in a little shield as well from Wadid, and then you are pretty happy if you are Hjarnan. Once again, Sven breaking his promise on Twitter, going for Doran's shield. He is, after all, a meta slave, just like the rest of us.
You're really adamant about calling him out about that.
I mean, I saw LOL Esports tweeted it, I saw Quickshot was tweeting it. When you make those big statements...
Like, I'm not going to use Doran's shield?
Yeah, you can't go in your first series and pick a champion where you build Doran's shield and do it twice. It's almost like it's really good, especially on these scaling 80 carries.
Very, very good. For now, though, neither team really are opting to trade too much. Mithy, though, still sending out a decent amount of damage. Shield from Wadid. Oh, going down. Root does come in.
I'm still thinking about that Gnar point.
You see that number 6? 6! Let me tell you about another number 6. It's series wins. Has nothing to do with this, but I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I always felt like it was a 7-game win streak they had, but no, it was in fact 6. And it was obviously a win streak that got a lot of people hyped about Roccat and the lineup. Well deserved, because they actually played really well with these like 1-3-1 comps. Funny enough, in a game like this, because they have Syndra, they don't actually want to play pure 1-3-1 split push, which is normally the style they find a lot of success with. They have to surrender the lane where Fizz shows up, unless they move the Xayah down with a support to try and like 2v1 Blanc later on. Irrelevant for now. Hjarnan is doing just fine in this lane.
When you talk about the pressure on Roccat, if they want to find a win here, one man that they are going to need to shut down is Lulex in the jungle. Absolutely crucial in the last game. He was the guy who set LeBlanc up for success. And
he's top lane, baby.
Anything from the Lee Sin, we're seeing it from Kha'Zix. Move forward, does slow him down. Looking for a little bit more damage. Foxy, just a little bit more rage to go Mega. Not going to need it. Lulex trading flashes.
All right, Lulex finding his way top lane to help out. Means Pride Stalker invades his jungle though, and Sven taking a lot of damage. 3 feathers not in position to be used properly for Hjarnan to actually get some CC on the Twitch. Wins the trade.
Good for now. It's a very trade-heavy bot lane, and it looks like Sven and Mithy not coming out on top here. A little bit of advantage in terms of their mana pools. Maybe can mitigate some of the incoming damage in the future, but for now, just less in the health department. And honestly, Deficio, to me, it looks like neither of these guys are 100% comfortable playing up against Xayah.
Takes time to get used to. I think it's also disrespecting you playing Twitch, and you don't actually have to try and challenge her that much in the early game. Like, your late game range is so superior on Twitch with your ulti compared with Xayah ulti, and her E is pretty damn effective. Luckily over G2 have more tools to deal with it this time around. Now they have a big tank in the front.
Foxy going in right as he turns mini, so it makes it pretty easy for him to chase down this kill. 2 stacks of Hyper, not going to go for the 3rd on this tower dive, but is pressuring out Sendo, and it's starting to look a lot like game 1. Now Betsy's hungry for a little bit of blood. Lulex, they know he's a factor. He is going to make it out in the end, and a lot of aggressive plays across the map. Yeah,
we did flash for that one because he knew there was no flash on Lulex, but there's a little travel time on that polymorph, and Lulex managed to get out in time. very important for him. G2 wants to just push out this bottom lane and see if they can go back to base. Ton of gold sitting on the Twitch. And the slow start is fine for them because they have the scale and comp with Fizz and Twitch. Blanc even looking for a kill top.
Pride Stalker sitting on a ward, gonna get knocked up. That's the Gigalodon, the big old fish coming in, and Blanc gonna make the damage come down. Doesn't even need to reset the tower aggro. Foxy now the man in trouble. Keep your eyes on the playful Trickster, not used yet. Blanc now pushing for a little bit more. Where's the Justice Punch? The Winds of War come in, and that's the double for Blanc.
So easy. Fizz leaves the mid lane while Roccat is sitting behind G2's tier 1 tower. Seemed like nothing was communicated with Blanc leaving early on, and Pride Stalker and Foxy just got surprised, caught with their pants down, and then a massive fish absolutely destroyed him.
Mithy, stun goes in, Unleash Power, the exhaust. Mitigates the damage. That's nothing in the hands of Roccat.
Sucks for Betsy. Thought he had a free kill right there. Sven alone in the bottom lane though. Yanin not level 6, but he's going forward to go backwards.
Deadly Plumage comes out, no double daggers, just waiting. Sven sitting in XP range. Wants to keep the lane going, but we'll take another look at that top lane.
So Fizz has been missing for at least 5 seconds at this point, but it seems like Roccat thought he was back in base, potentially.
And this...
No way out. And a great knock-up as well from Sendo here.
And while we can criticize Roccat for not respecting the Fizz roams, we also have to just praise Blanc. This guy came in, we had low expectations. He's never played with his team before. He has no experience with the G2 lineup, and he just goes off in game 2. And now he's doing it again here in game 3.
They believe in him. Such a great way to show, again, your individual skill.
Yeah, if you guys weren't excited for PSG, Blanc pretty much just gave you a reason. This guy is crushing Betsy, roaming across the map.
I mean, funny thing is, we actually don't need to hype the Challenger Series more here in Europe because we have so many teams that are pretty damn exciting to watch. Schalke, PSG, and so on. Former LCS teams down there as well. Blanc, obviously, in the last game, popped off completely on Orianna, got early kills. Then
32.2 damage share. Would not have guessed that from the way the Kog'Maw was playing, too, so that's quite impressive.
Did absolutely everything in that game. I think he missed one shockwave, and that was it. That was even like a zoning shockwave. Not as a meme, but in fact, actually just a zoning one.
I thought he just missed one, but I'll trust your eyes over mine, Officio.
I saw the one in bot lane, but again, it was to stop Roccat from going forward. At least I'm going to give him that, benefit.
When you hit every other one, we're inclined to believe that the one that you miss is...
On purpose.
On purpose.
On purpose. Now he's rushing towards Protobelt on the 2-0 Fizz. It is not fun to play Syndra once Fizz has ulti available. It gets less fun when Fizz gets early kills.
He ults,
he hits you, yeah, and then you're
what do? Do you stun him? No, because he's going to play full Trickster. Do you stun him in the middle of the Urchin Strike? No, you dodge the ult and you're fine.
All right, Betsy showing how to play the matchup, and Blanc missing that ulti. We'll wait for next one to be ready. So Lulex was around mid, because that's the thing. When you get hit by the ulti, it's never just Fizz. It's always this dumb jungler next to him, or a TP happening, and it's like support is roaming, Twitch is roaming.
And, see a little engage here as Foxy continues to trade. Renino is going to come out again. Foxy continues to get aggressive. Looks like he's going to build a Blade of the Rune King for this top lane matchup. And you talked about 1-3-1, talked about split push potentially coming out. Looks like Roccat have some split pushing plans of their own.
I mean, so one of the main ways for them to win is having Foxy really take over a side lane. They know Fizz will take over the other side lane in favor of G2. And I even saw like Jace top lane build Blade of the Rune King in the LCK against the Sejuani. So against tanks here, it is actually very, very effective as a first item to try and just win the split push, but it makes you extremely weak in team fights. And that is a key thing to highlight. It's very squishy.
Moving forward, Lulex on the way in. Meganar, will it be available? Rage continues to grow. He flashes forward, gets him down. Lulex grabbing a kill onto Foxy. A little too eager to make an impact on that top side.
Well, 2 games in a row now where G2's top side, where they have the 3 subs, have actually been outplaying Rocket's top side. Blank's roam from earlier, now Lulex with another gank on Foxy top lane. There's almost no vision other than one ward being placed from Roccat up there. So G2 are actually playing maybe an unexpected style where they're not playing around Sven and Mithy. They're just playing around the 3 subs, and the 3 subs are actually doing really well. 2 games in a row.
And it's a good look for the team overall, and it's interesting to see how this has worked out for them overall. And right now, it's the right call for G2. Maybe it's just so obvious. the enemy team that they should be playing around bot lane, that they should try to shut down Sven and Mithy. The G2 are more than happy to give it up, and surprising, we can say, to put so much faith in substitute players.
I think they've earned it now after that last game. Fed, Fizz, and Lulex once again with very good early moves.
In this matchup, 2-0 Fizz with the Proto Belt now completed. This feels nigh impossible for Betsy. He's going to have to outplay if he wants to survive here. Leaps forward. Pride Stalker is there. Moving in a little bit more. Blanc taking a lot of damage here. Does have the Storm Raider search for Pride Stalker, but has to reload. Not going to be able to finish that one.
I like that little play from both Pride Stalker and Betsy. Betsy kind of baiting, okay, hey, look, Blanc, you can actually all in me. Pride Stalker hiding around the corner for the counter gank. One of the ways you can deal with the Fizz. Sadly for them, Blanc actually just walked out of it. Didn't even have to use Flash.
Interesting, too, as we see this. We talked a lot about Pride Stalker on this Elise really needing to be an early game factor for Roccat. Now, it did not work in Game 1. It did not work in Game 2, and Roccat have now adapted. They said, hey, we're not going to put you on an early game champion. We're going to put you on someone who farms. And now, he's more than happy to just counter gank. Pride Stalker can safely farm up, can get to the late game. And while Graves' end of the line base has gotten nerfed, the scaling did get buffed, so he's going to do a ton of damage.
Yeah, sadly lost a lot of the fun combos you can do as well on him, which definitely does affect him in many ways. Lulex realizing Ocean Drake does hurt a little bit too much. Sven is hiding, but he's alone bot lane. Yana might realize that very quickly. There's a lot of feathers down.
More damage. Using the double daggers, though, just to push the wave. Not interested in trying to all-in. Maybe does not have the mana pool here to keep that fight going. Sven, decently far behind, but has a bunch of gold in the bank. Will be able to buy when he finally gets the opportunity to go back. 2.3k at the moment. Should be able to complete the Blade of the Rune King to match Hjarnen's newly completed Blade as well.
Come on, let's see some kills around mid lane. Fizz, you got rank to ulti soon, halfway there. Betsy needs to take the fight against him. I want to see the junglers join, I want to see the top laners join. We want to see a game like the last one, where we have a ton of fights early on here.
Not because it's the right choice, because it's what we want to see.
It's an entertaining choice. I'm not looking for a macro game when I'm watching a team with 3 subs. I'm looking for fights.
You may just get it, Deficio. Blanc has the Shark available. Can just throw it in. Is going to throw it forward. Betsy, no real path to get out. Not going to get hit by it. Barrier up. Throws back some good damage. That's a nice play coming from Betsy, but he gives up both sums in exchange.
I think it's the correct way he played it, though. Like, forward step to dodge the ulti there from Fizz. It won't get picked up once it's already on the ground. And then use Flash Barrier to get up. And now you can just return gank. This is what we wanted to see from G2 to force the summoners from Betsy. Go back once that ulti is ready in just like 40 seconds or something from the Fizz. And it's a free kill.
Hjarnen, though, now in trouble. Not going to matter too much. Neither side has enough damage to all in the other. Too much shielding on the bottom side. But it's good that you pointed that out, Deficio, because Fizz, so much cooldown reduction itemized early, can just continue to spam with those ults and those abilities
Rank
to really
2 now.
Pressure Betsy.
Yeah, so his ulti like is 60 seconds cooldown with the CDR, with rank 2. Every single minute they can force a play and a kill mid.
Oh, Hjarnen in trouble. Out comes the spray and pray. Shield. Torrents.
Came in just in time.
Oh, that was close.
I know he has heal and everything, but that was a close one. So, you got your ulti soon. They call in even Sendo. At this point, you just need Lulex, that's all. Actually, you could probably even just kill Syndra alone. No flash, no barrier. I'm looking for a play bot lane, though.
Taking advantage. Sven may not have been able to get a kill on that all-in, but now is able to get a ton of free tower damage down, which could help the team, and has set Lulex up to take this Ocean Drake.
Yeah, and with the push bot lane, with the pressure mid due to Fizz and his kill pressure, well, River is open. That means Drake is basically going over to G2 for free now, and this is good use of just knowing, okay, we will win any 1v1, 2v2 right now. So the enemy team needs to just play passive, and we therefore get the free objective. You can even switch top now and look for Rift Herald if you want to be very aggressive in the river.
Sven taking a bit of tower damage there. Hjarnen's starting to lose out on these trades pretty hard. Not maybe where he wanted to be. And definitely not going to win a scaling war against a champion with range like Twitch.
Yeah, and we have to remember there is no Rakan with him to actually force the engages. Lulu can't force an engage. She sits back and shields her AD carry, but her AD carry gets out-traded and outranged by a Twitch ulti. So Hjarnen can't actually like kill Sven at the moment with his defensive support. Roccat under pressure in mid and bot lane, and there doesn't seem to be a way out right now because they don't have any ways to like set up a gank properly with the Graves. They can't force a fight properly with the 2v2, and they have no summoners mid with Syndra. Very tough spot to be in, where all you're basically calling as a team is try and stall it, stall it, stall it. We need summoners back, and then we need Foxy to maybe make a play with us.
Blanc now roaming down. Maybe this is the catalyst that could start the play in favor of G2, but Roccat are ready. Roccat can make a play happen. Foxy has TP. No rage built up, though. Means he's not in a great spot to respond.
Yeah, it's fine that G2 are pushing for tower, but they don't actually want to fight 4v4. Because they know if they just split it up, they're much stronger right now due to Fizz. No reason to take like an open team fight, because that's actually where Roccat might still be able to do something. Roccat wants to just buy time for Foxy on this fancy Gnar skin. Try and split push all day long, but it takes time. Because Galio, for some reason, is a tank with damage reduction, half global ulti that also offers damage reduction, and ton of wave clear.
And a ton of AoE CC.
Why does he have a ton of wave clear?
You know, sometimes someone needs to have everything. Again, just Galio's has got it all, you know?
It's just so annoying to play against him and like split push against him. It's like the old AP Gragas. You're like, yeah, I'm pushing the tower. I'm waved out to 1Q.
Remember that montage showed up on Reddit? The old school Gragas plays where you just pushed R and they died.
Yeah, that was when he had like 1.0 AP ratio on both Q and ulti. Back in the day when Shushe started playing AP Gragas. Old school name.
Body slam cooldown was ridiculously low.
You know, before that, it was actually, it's called Roccat, I think it was called back then. The item we actually didn't remove.
Oh, intervening Roccat? The
exactly.
Udyr item?
The Udyr item. It actually worked on Gragas as well, because you were just spamming so many abilities so often, you would just constantly get HP and mana back, and you could just run around as like a tank Gragas that was basically unkillable at times. But then we removed it. Because it was a really obnoxious item to play against.
Is that probably the worst balanced item in the game in the history of League of Legends?
Well, no, because for 95% of the champions, the item wasn't good. It was just for like very key select champions that spammed a lot of abilities, it was good.
Yeah, I guess we have to remember Heart of Gold. We have to remember the days of Ancient Bulwark. You guys may not remember, but Aegis used to give an AoE MR buff, and it used to upgrade into an item which gave an even bigger AoE MR buff, which meant most mages were just bad. But Sven, not worried about mages. He's worried about the Feather Storm, though, and is going to back off here on the bottom side.
I'm actually surprised Betsy didn't die. Like, he sat there with no summoners.
Rex. Going on the Prize Soccer. Betsy coming in to back up the team. It feels like both teams just want to play around bottom side, but neither one can really find the opportunity to execute.
I like the Banshees here from Betsy to obviously help him. The long-range fish won't really be that effective then from Blank's side. Easy enough to pop it though, like in a teamfight later, but at least now it helps Betsy just wave clear, step away.
Whereas in game one, we kind of wanted more damage from Betsy. Now I feel like the Banshee is the right choice just because of how much kill pressure the Fizz has.
And his team has a ton of damage already with Graves and Xayah. And even Gnar, like, you got to respect the Gnar damage.
I mean, essentially 4 damage threats on the side of Roccat. No real tank, though, we can safely say.
You're
Gnar.
on a ward.
They're going to find out in about 20 seconds.
The most ward bot lane brush was, funny enough, warded when you sat there. It's fine though, they actually just want to pressure them off for tower. So they didn't care about a ward being placed.
End of the line used.
Oh, Yarnan!
Definitely end of the line for Yarnan though. Out comes the fish, down he goes, and Block now on a killing spree. We wanted to see it in the mid lane, but we're going to get it on the bottom side.
Is it a fish with a rabbit costume on, or is it a rabbit?
It's a fish with the rabbit costume on.
You sure?
Who throws a carrot. Well, Blanc, turn around, buddy. No,
I mean more his ulti.
Oh, I think it's just a giant, scary rabbit.
Pretty sure it is.
Giant, scary rabbit.
But everything else is a fish.
That's the greatest Fizz analysis I've ever heard, Deficio.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Blank got his kill, and G2, just like last game, are just taking full control. And we know that shot calling is great when they're ahead, because, again, they have Sven and Mithy here with them. And they have this split-pushing Fizz with 3 kills. They're winning their 2v2 matchup as well. And Sendo, while he will lose his tower eventually, he's just trying to buy enough time. And it's actually looking great once again for T2. And Roccat, they need to make plays.
A lot of pressure on them, and they have a lot of the tools to do so. Gnar can just throw that Galio into the wall, can get the backup, maybe coming in from Bridestalker, who has more than enough damage here, but they're both AD.
Yeah, and you see Frozen Heart and Ninja Tabi on Sendo, so that dive is actually not easy to pull off, also with the damage reduction of Galio W. At this point here, you're kind of relying on Foxy to be strong enough, fast enough, but that's one of the problems with Gnar. He is fairly slow at really hitting a massive split pushing power spike. Now with 2 items completed, he can definitely start doing more damage to Sendo. But you actually have nowhere else on the map where you're winning as Roccat. So you have nowhere else where you're actually making plays. And I believe
that's the replay.
That is a giant rabbit.
Ah, got it.
Unless there's a fish underneath it, we don't know.
Pushing the rabbit up. Could be a teamwork effort. Well, solo effort coming in for Sven. We've seen this play before. Both times not going to work out. Just ult traded for ult here. And it's so awkward when we look at the top lane matchup, because if you're Foxy, you just want to stay mini Gnar 100% of the time when you're fighting the Galio. Because when you turn Mega, that burst damage just... Galio doesn't care. You throw that guy into the wall, he just hits you back. He's fine to battle without melee. So you're just in this awkward spot where you can't really get the tower.
Oh, super awkward moment. I asked Youngbuck if that was a new suit. He was like, no, it's actually super old, and I've been wearing it so often. I'm like, oh. Oh.
That is so awkward, Fisher. You're right. How did you recover from that?
I just kind of walked away, and I was like, I don't want to talk to you.
That's a classic way to deal with an embarrassing situation.
I don't want to have this conversation. You know, I was wrong. See ya.
Wow.
And now Youngbuck,
that's good to know.
We don't speak anymore. We don't talk, I guess.
Like you used to. Well, Lulek's going to grab another dragon. And Foxy finally going to break that top tier tower. So Dragon traded for tower in the end. Once again, no Rift Herald this game because it's 23 minutes. Baron on the table, the only objective available for the teams. And neither side has opted to group yet at all. It's the 23-minute laning phase.
Yeah.
And finally,
we're North American now, baby.
Now if we could just A-rail down the mid.
Well, we won't, because the Foxy Taxi, he's in one lane. And the Blank Taxi is in the other lane with the Fizz. But I guess we will get some fights in mid. Lulex, he's sniffing in the enemy jungle. Smelling Pride Stalk on the way out. Oh, Phantom.
Ooh, not going to connect on the Void Spikes. Isolation would have guaranteed the slow there. Pride Stalker could have been in trouble, but Lulex just waiting in the bush. Those ones are going to hit.
I still hate these teams for playing the slowest games possible when it's with subs.
We'll see. You can choose between the carrot and the stick here, Deficio, or you can be like Blanc and pick a carrot on a stick and a hard carry for the mid lane.
Well, that's what he's doing. A few claps for G2 getting another turret down. Foxy's moved himself to another lane where he knows, okay, now it's my time to kill another tower. Yes, these 2 items he needed, we talked about. He needs 2 items before he really takes over, and it's slow and steady for these guys.
Tortoise in the hair, as the Fizz skin just appears to be more and more relevant. Foxy mini near, just going to continue to harass. We'll rinse and repeat the same pattern. This will eventually even out the gold if he can just keep sieging these towers. And Baron now potentially on the table, the next objective that both these teams have to consider, and it could be the major breaking point in this game. But for now, it's just more laning phase.
No, he's hitting a tower.
Oh, that's good.
Betsy's touching the enemy turret.
Cannon wave is there.
Now he's getting punished for it. First time the poor guy steps forward.
Then coming to the side, there's a lot of members there, dishing out as much damage as he possibly can. Damage reduction from the Galio, going to keep him alive for now. Blanc going to leap onto Betsy, goes golden. A little bit more damage. Got an extra assassin in the back pocket, so Lulek's going to pick that one up.
You got a bit of your ARAM mid right there. Betsy finally felt like he could actually step forward, and then G2 engages. But Foxy, he's pushing the bot lane. There's a massive wave as well. He's probably going to get a lot of damage to the next one. G2 needs to go down and defend here. Foxy's going to be so annoying this game, just trying to push.
And Hjarnan hoping to buy a little bit of time there with the Blade Caller, but not able to find the snare on the Lulex. Means he's going to walk away with his life. 5 kills up on the side of G2, but not a major difference in gold. The Infernal, the Ocean, may be a bigger factor than the difference in gold at 26 minutes when it's only 2K. Whoop. Have you ever considered a Deficio, like, voice pack?
I once said on air that I would make one, and instantly there was like a Reddit thread that came up, and I was like, I feel really bad because I'm like, well, I'm not gonna make one because it would be really terrible. but suddenly people actually thought I would make one, and I kind of lied to everyone.
Give me your best pentakill moment there,
No.
Deficio, from the Deficio voice pack.
It was really bad. Really bad.
That's part of the appeal. Well, we look at the fight again. I mean, this is the difficulty. No place for the Syndra to go. Double assassin on the enemy team, and no tank front line because Fox is pushing on the bottom side.
Let's try again though. Betsy with the Banshee is his only saving grace. That Banshee's gone.
Well, a lot of damage. Mythic can back him up. Blanc just gets the kill.
I'm telling you guys, playing Syndra in a game like this is just the worst feeling ever. Because everything will just try and kill you from super long range. And you have that little Banshees to help you.
Oh, Blanc going in. Sven on the side. Has used the rat-a-tat-tat. Smoke swing is going to mean he doesn't have the line of sight to fire the shots necessary, but it does mean the tower's going to drop. Collateral damage comes in. Foxy's ready with the rage, but he's going to go mega way before the fight's going to start. Yarn hungry. Has the Featherstorm available. The Blade Caller as well. Maybe going to look to find a snare here. Can they get the Wombo combo? Rage dropping. I don't think we're going to see it this time.
No, Foxy does not want to be with the team right now. He wants to keep pushing in a side lane. I realize we haven't seen a Rift Herald in any of these games. Not been prioritized by these teams. No Zac, no Rift Herald. Actually just not adapting at all to the new patch. It's like we're playing back in spring, except for Xayah, I guess, being here.
And Doran Shield.
Doran Shield,
Galio.
at this point, we don't care about Doran Shield. Also, Galio was enabled. Nope, that was MSI. It was LPO players. Because you know me, I'm always thinking LPO
Yeah,
terms.
I was thinking LPO.
Yeah.
Put your hand back in the game, Deficio. It's EU time.
It's my bad.
Oh, man. Well, here we are, 28 minutes into the game, 6 kills in favor of G2, but once again, not the end-all be-all. A very close game as Roccat continues to put the side lane pressure down, utilizing that Gnar, the Blade of the Rune King, and Black Cleaver, making it all too easy to bully out Sendo in those exchanges.
And we do see, as we talked about earlier, it is Xayah and Lulu going top to try and deal with the Fizz, push in the Fizz, and then roam towards the mid lane to try and make a play. But Sven and Mithy already here to try and wave clear. And Roccat, they gotta be fast if they want to pull the trigger here. There's no TP on Blank, so it's the point where you gotta roam in behind Mithy and Sven and actually just threaten to straight up dive them on the tower with the 4-man advantage.
Trying to find the position with the stealth. No rat-a-tat-tat. Does get hit up, though, in the stealth. Nice moves from Betsy. The Foxy-Toxy on the way in. Can he pick up the team and put him to victory? That is a very sad-looking carrot.
I feel like it kind of fit the tone of the game.
Vegetarians always tell us it's more humane, man. That didn't look humane.
Didn't even hit any minions. And he's back top, and he's actually just going to push out that lane. And Roccat are trying to push in, but there's wave clear from the Galio. It's not enough. They should get tower here. Mithy might get caught.
One stack, but he's got the Blade of the Rune King. Snare going to come in for Mithy. They're going to back off. Roccat going to take the tower. 3K gold advantage still for the side of G2. And they're hungry for blood here. Sven still running forward on the front lines. Has the Runeans working towards that IE. That's going to be a massive spike for him.
Come on, Foxy. Megan's running out, though.
But he has a Blade of the Rune King. Can he chase down Sven?
It's not as flashy when he jumps in on a minion R for a fight. Gotta respect Blank as well being here. I'm glad the towers are dying. Opens up the map. Means there's a higher chance Blank will find like a long-range catch of some sort. of 30 minutes in, like, should start looking at Baron as well, Drake. So once again, just like game one, be ready for the one explosive fight.
Do you remember when we looked at Roccat when Roccat was struggling last season?
Yeah.
We looked at them, we saw even CS in most of the lanes, but what we saw was big differences in kills and plays being made around the map, and right now Rockat's kind of starting to feel like that same old Roccat. They're going even in lanes, they're doing fine, they're making moves, but they're not making crazy plays, they're not doing anything crazy together as a team, and kind of expected to see more development from these guys coming into the season.
Yeah, again, losing Max Lore obviously sets them back a bit from the team that went on a 6-game win streak, as we saw perfectly highlighted earlier in this game.
I like that Wadid is still spamming Laugh on Lulu, though. Bringing up the team spirits, reminding them, guys, it's all okay.
Not the game to do it, though.
Probably not.
Not the game to do it. Your team is down 6-0 against a scaling composition on the side of G2, and you're going to have to respect that Baron is going to be set up now against double TP as well. It is really hard for Roccat actually to do anything on the map. Like, that's one of the reasons they're so passive right now, because they lost mid, they lost bot lane. and only had the winning split pusher. So they didn't want to move out of his lane, so he was stuck top lane. That was the strongest member on the team. The other 4 couldn't actually deal with G2, so that's why they had to just surrender basically most of the map on that bottom side and lost so many things, and that's why there's a 3k gold advantage for G2 as well.
We have to remember, though, if Roccat ever do get the opportunity to fight on their terms, they have the potential. They have that sort of shotgun-style composition. They may only get one shot, but if they take it, it's going to deal a ton of damage. Right now, we're going to see a fight start up, though. Yarnan's chasing down Sven. Heal burned up. Doesn't want to risk the Blade Caller coming back in. Good start for Roccat to get control over this Baron Pit area.
Yeah, they're trying to do this just to start the Baron and force a fight around it, because they need to force this TP from Blank. If they don't actually start the Baron here, then G2 will get to push in that tier 2 bot tower. Roccat invested a lot of time to try and make a play here. Mega Knight's running out, so they're not forcing anything. And they just got a heal from Sven. I actually thought they would just start the objective, force TP, and then disengage after TP had been used by Blank, and it could give Roccat a small advantage. But instead, they're going to lose this bot lane tower and trade it for basically Twitch's heal.
And that Lich Bane on Twitch just makes him such a huge threat in the side lane, where normally you don't have to worry about those AP champions like a Ryze or someone else you may see in the side lane. Fizz absolutely can just tear through those towers.
And now you also just gave up the river completely, because you all recalled. You all went back to base. G2 can now push out a lane, reset, get new wards, get new control wards, return out on the map, and make basically the same play. Once again with the Fed Fizz going to that side lane and pushing it all the way out.
And we look at it, more globals too. On the side of G2, not only do they have the Galio ult, that semi-global ability, they have double teleport. Just much easier for this team to move around the map to outmaneuver Roccat, despite Roccat being...
Oh, he's ganking Foxy.
Kind of reliant.
He's going to take the blast gun into him. Oh, he took it the other way. The crowd's like, no, fight.
Yordle battle, or whatever. It feels like a Yordle. I don't understand. He's like a fish person. All right. Not important right now, however. Roccat is going to start at the Baron here. Going to look to push for more, but in comes
This is big though, Dragus. This might actually decide the whole thing.
Foxy trying to build up rage, trying to be ready for the fight, but he misses the boomerang. That's a crucial cooldown. Lulex, you want a moment to shine, you want a resume moment, it's going to be to steal the Baron, but you're not going to find it. In goes Blanc. Betsy going to miss the scatter of the week. They're looking for more. Lulex goes over the wall. Pride Stalker looking to find the shot. Down comes the Galio, but it's too little, too late. Sven's dishing out the damage. Foxy knocks him back, but he's just going to keep firing away. Rat-a-tat-tat. That's the double kill. Dropping for Sendo.
Roccat still got the Baron here. Very important for them because they were behind. Also forced double TP from G2. Yes, you lose Foxy and Pride Stalker, and probably your mid tower will take some damage, but I think all in all, a good trade for Roccat because they were on the back foot. They managed to actually make a play here.
Getting the Baron could allow them to break open a lot more towers as well. They may have lost some members for now, but they'll be up soon. Foxy's still an absolute threat in the side lane, more so now with that Baron buff on another member of the team to pressure other lanes out. Unfortunate that he won't get it to push forward. But for now, Roccat...
He still gets to build up a wave where the rest of his team can join him at the tower. So this is the rush in. Obviously, yes, it ends up being like that 50-50 Baron play, but if you are behind already, sometimes that is a fine play to try and go for it. Say, if we get the Baron, we have a way back into this game. Lulex goes down after, but obviously with Roccat being so split up, there's actually no way for him to really take the fight. Blank's ulti was used before this on just Foxy. Really big opportunity missed for him to try and get it onto an actual squishy member. But this is now Roccat getting an objective to try and get back into the game. They're still behind.
And we look at that last fight and praise Sven. Excellent positioning coming in to punish Roccat for getting over-aggressive on the chase to Lulex. Roccat maybe had backed off there, not been quite so hungry to turn a small advantage into a much bigger one. It could have gone differently, but Sven ready and in position to punish that choice.
Let's see Blank here from the side. No flash on Yarnan. If he hits the fish onto him, it is almost a guaranteed. Actually, no, Yarnan has his ulti. He's going to be okay. It's more someone like Betsy we're looking at. It's on Pride Stalker. It's a small one.
Lulex, stealth may help. Blanc leaping forward, leaping out. Featherstorm goes in, pulled back, so the snare is going to connect onto Lulex, but he's still going to live. Mythic keeping his team healthy. Quick shields, but now Sven ready to get into position. Foxy on the side. Where's it going to go? Not going to be enough. Sven gets the damage reduction from the Galio. The ult is interrupted, but he's got the reduction to keep himself healthy. He's running forward for more. Mitty flashes over the wall to speed him up. Keep your eyes on this Twitch. Does have to back off now. Foxy all alone on the side. What was supposed to be a play is the end for Rockat's team-fighting hopes.
Yeah, it was G2 who started the fight, but then Foxy came in a bit later. Yarnan, he's all alone.
Bye-bye, Yarnan. Down he goes. Blanc now unstoppable. Elder Dragon in the sights of G2. All too easy for them to pick it up. And with 3 dragons backing them up, that's going to be 4 stacks. 180 bonus true damage.
Yep. It's another game where we actually see better team play from G2 with the 3 subs here. Good start to the fight. And then as soon as they actually realize, okay, we're not getting anything on the first engage, they respect the Gnar, waits for him to actually use his Mega Gnar, jump in, they realize he's not a threat, and then Sven opens up on Betsy and kills him. They're going for more.
Pushing for a little bit more now, going to break down this tower. The leadership of Mythy and the veteran members of G2 paying off dividends for this G2 squad as they continue to make the right calls. And we were worried about Roccat when we saw the new lineup. What will they do without the leadership of Maxlor? And right now, it does not look like things are going well.
No, so Betsy is kind of left alone at first, and you see now they're respecting 4 man on the side of Foxy. Sven realizes, okay, Foxy's not going to get close to me. I can just all in now on Betsy. Opens up and just destroys him. Mythy wants to be part of it. Flashes over.
Wants to speed him up. Thought maybe they could get a little more.
It's a great play if you want a better KDA. Can definitely recommend it for people in solo queue.
Or save your flash, because believe it or not, solo queue is by winning, not KDA.
I don't know, Yanin. I don't know, Yanin. Just kind of ignoring the fact that everyone was in River.
Well, Fischio, the odds are certainly mounting against Roccat. 7k gold difference. Elder Dragon still ticking. Still plenty of time left on that buff. And that means no team fight is going to go in the favor of Roccat, short of a miraculous wombo combo.
So what we talked about, though, again, Roccat needing time with Pride Stalker. I think he's not had the opening series he was hoping for as a new jungler, rookie jungler on this big stage. I think Blank on the other side got contacted yesterday. He's been very happy.
Yeah, for a man who rolled up to LCS with 1 day's notice, this guy is on a tear.
0 scrims. 0 scrims. 1 day's notice. Showed up in the studio today and actually been playing some really nice League of Legends.
I mean, Sendo as well. Solid role player on this Galio. LVP has to be happy to have him. G2 Vodafone, clearly a strong member of the roster. Borrowing from a sister team within the organization, working out well for the squad. Looks now to run to safety. Roccat doing what they can to hold on to this inhibitor. Baron power play, negative 3,600 gold, not where they want to be. Oh, that.
Welcome to a late game fed Fizz.
No magic resistance on that Gnar either, folks.
There's one more, but that's really not enough for him.
Wow.
At this point, he itemized so much armor to try and deal with Sven in a fight.
Storm comes out. Gonna save the day, but Sven bowling off multiple members of the team. G2 just closing this one out cleanly, slowly but surely breaking down Roccat, and they're running out of chances to fight back.
Tier 1 bot lane, falling as well. Blank's ulti is soon ready for another engage, so look for that one. Betsy, no flash, pretty easy target for him.
Lulex taking a lot of damage. Blanc running forward.
Okay, that
goes out. Betsy's still in trouble, however. Xayah, such a huge influence in the last game. Looks like Rakan may have been the bigger factor here and the right choice to ban out on the side of G2. No reliable engages for Roccat, making this much harder. No one to set the Gnar up for success in a lot of these instances. And 1-5-0 the score for Foxy. Massive CS lead for him, but it just doesn't matter. Gargoyle, Stone Plate, Randuin's rather, not Runans. The Abyssal Scepter, Frozen Heart, that is an unkillable Galio, and that means Foxy's really never going to be reliably able to get that ult off if he walks face first into a taunt.
Yeah, Roccat really have no way of killing him. What we talked about as well, like Twitch's long range in a fight, so much more effective than Xayah's low range now when there's actually a tank in front of Xayah. And Sven is going full reckless in this game as well with Frozen Mallet completed. Blank is finding a random Pride Stalker who is all alone.
Yeah, it's going to hurt the Pride. Leading forward, auto up, waiting for the passive to get ready, going to walk forward. Lulex going to grab that one, though. Kills keep coming. Foxy running for his life. Sven Yarn's in the pinch, but no, it's Sven on the backside. So much damage. Lulex getting the double. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Looking to get a little more. That's the triple for Lulex. He wants to make it a quadra. Let's keep it up, folks. Let's follow him down. That's 4 kills for Lulex.
And 5 for G2. They're going to just finish this game here. 17-1 in game 3 with 3 subs for G2 Esports. very, very nice for them to actually get a win here. I don't think they expected that.
11K gold lead. Proof in the power of leadership and solo queue mechanics. G2 coming in clutch, ladies and gentlemen. That is the 2-1 victory for G2, starting off on an undefeated season.
I mean, what a start. I think a lot of credit to Lulex, Blank, and Zendo in the early game. They were actually the ones winning in game 2 and game 3. Bot lane would be farming. It was actually top lane and mid lane with Lulex winning against Roccat, and that is a problem on the side of Roccat. That your solo laners and your jungler gets outplayed by 3 guys who are actually not in the LCS.
And maybe they should be with performances like that. Big show of confidence from so many of these players. Zen and Mythy definitely still got it, and we got 3 new names to keep our eyes on. Sendu for all you LVP fans, Blanc for the Challenger fans.
Lulex for... I don't know, I haven't
Currently listed
seen.
as a sub on the G2 roster, correct?
I believe he's a sub on the G2 roster. Obviously played for Schalke last split, but didn't manage to make it into the promotion tournament. Schalke has changed the lineup as well. And if you are G2 Esports, I mean, you sat in kind of a nightmare scenario yesterday where basically half your team had gone missing. 2 guys on holiday, 1 guy sick all of a sudden.
Have to field an emergency sub, have to lose your bans. Down 2 bans in every game, we can't forget that.
And then you actually, in the last game, end up stomping Roccat, basically. And in the second game, you were also dominating for most of the game.
I mean, we were talking to Joe this morning, and they were panicking, trying to find an option. They're like, well, Blanc was in town, we could get this as an option, and it worked out. Well, G2 started the summer split with a win. Let's go over to the analyst desk for a closer look at that game 3.
Thank you so much, Dracos. Yeah, G2, they defeat the odds and they defeat Roccat and get a win here on the board. Well, quite impressive for them. And I think I can share this now. I didn't want it before the series, but I saw Mythy when he was getting makeup and I was like, how are you feeling about the match? And he said, like, I'm just here for the food, man. But then turns out that things might have gone a bit better than expected in G2. Yeah, wow, what a convincing game. It was like they were playing with their original roster.
I loved seeing Mythy's face at the end. Like, he stands up, he looks at Sven, he's like, well, we won that game. Great job. Like, that was a pretty convincing victory. The fact that Lulex ended up getting a quadra kill at the very end as well. The whole lineup really putting on a spectacular performance in that final game.
I think it gelled. We know, obviously, that Sendo and Lulex had been practicing with G2 for a little bit. They announced it ahead of time. I think it gelled once they realized Roccat weren't punishing them, especially in the jungle role, and you put Sendo on something that was very easy to facilitate the rest of the team, and then just get Blanc something comfortable. Don't necessarily have him play around Sven, but get him something he can win the lane with. And from there, G2 didn't really look phased with 3 substitutes. That shouldn't happen at the LCS.
Jean-Victor Burgevin. Amazing name from Lulex, and fantastic. We do have a couple of replays we want to take a look at, most notably starting in the top lane where G2, they get off to a fantastic start. Not quite as early, but great moves.
Gotta criticize Roccat a little bit on this one. Nice roam from Blanc, but no wards to anywhere on the top side of the map. And Faxi is pushed behind the tower. Pridestalker is pushed up with him. This is the kind of play where if you know nobody is roaming, you can make, but even then it's still risky. Roccat just not really doing their diligence. Blanc punishes very effectively with that roam. There's nothing once you're stepped behind the enemy tower that you can really do to escape.
It surprises me because you would expect that if a Fizz is missing in the middle lane, especially around the level 6 mark, you would either expect him to have gone back to base or moving around the map, but regardless, he is not visible right now, and the duo in the top half of the map from Roccat should have been aware of this. They should have known that this kind of a play was coming, and instead they weren't able to react in time. So this started the snowball, which resulted in Blanc pretty much tearing up that game.
Yep, we did see here some stats on Pridestalker. If we kind of look at Rockat's first impressions overall, we said they might need a little bit of time to adjust, but I feel like this is worse than we can forgive a team that has had some time to practice and that is going up against a weakened G2. Or is that too rough?
So I think that there's a couple of things about this. I think it's a step down from where we saw them with Max Law significantly. These are weaknesses that it doesn't matter whether they were playing against subs, it doesn't matter whether they were playing against the full lineup. If Roccat aren't doing anything in the early game, not warding and playing over-aggressive, any team should punish this that can look at the minimap and say, okay, well, we know we can actually get the kill here. But yes, it is a little bit more damning that this isn't the full G2 roster, but I think Roccat have a lot to work on, clearly.
I personally feel that the reason why we saw such a massive upswing for Roccat was a lot of the other teams in Group A were not having the best of performances, but also like there were meta changes and there was a big confidence boost. Like so many things were going in favor of Roccat, but now we're back at the start of the season. We're resetting and we're identifying some of the core weaknesses that Roccat still plagues, like communication, their ability to work together, their setup. A lot of it does not seem optimal, and a lot of it seems like desperation plays, random TPs, trying to force fights around the map that aren't really optimal, and it's just a lot of question marks for me as to how good is Roccat, especially when you're going to lose against a lineup which on paper still is pretty strong, but should have been underperforming.
Yeah, we definitely want to see some improvement out of Roccat. I think that's fair to say, but we also want to sing the praises of Blanc in the mid lane there for G2, subbing in at the final hour, so to say, and having a very, very good performance. Hopeful for watching the PSG games and just really finding himself, it seems like, from that second game on, finding the synergy with Lulex, even though it was a thrown together combo.
I just love the fact that there was trust in him, right? The fact that he was able to play the Fizz into the Syndra, commonly known for being a favorable matchup. We saw the Nami hover at the very start, and I thought, are they going to put him back on the Karma in the middle lane? But no, they actually ended up giving him that confidence, and he had a fantastic performance overall.
Fantastic performance, saving grace, one of them of G2. I think that's a big sigh of relief for the entire organization. In theory, next week, back to business. Full G2 lineup for the rest of the split. So that's going to be an interesting one when the true Kings of Europe.
Yeah, let's absolutely hope so. Of course, our best wishes to Perks, and hope he gets better very quickly and we can see him in his lane kingdom again. But now for more on G2's win, Kickshot is ready to kick it with their support.
I am indeed ready to kick it with Mithy. Starting the split on maybe a little bit of a surprise win. I heard you say to Shocks in the makeup room that you're just here for the food today. How did the series go, and why did you win?
I must say the food is really good. Okay. But I think everyone just came in with no expectations, seeing how we can do. We had like 4 games of scrims, and we played with another mid laner because, we just came in, did our thing, and it ended up working out. I think we adapted well. Our comp on game 1 was horrible, so yeah.
Comp in game 1 is horrible. We'll have to see if that's your fault or Young Bucks' fault. We'll talk about that later. 2-1 in the series. Game 2, game 3, much better. Is G2 plus 3 subs that much better than Roccat? Or was Roccat just that bad today that it was so one-sided?
Well, first of all, our subs are actually good. We took the time to get good subs. And I think the main difference between I would say us and maybe some other top-tier EULCS teams and just like the bottom-tier teams, there's like very little mechanics, and it's a lot more about game knowledge. And I think even though our 3 players were gone, we were able to kind of just calm everyone down, and they were not playing very fast-paced, so we were able to play controlled and just tell everyone what they have to do. So we didn't really we were still a top team in the sense that we played good macro. So I guess Roccat really couldn't handle that so well, and their early game communication was horrible. I think they didn't even call misses, so yeah, that was pretty sad.
Well, it worked out in favor of G2, picking up a victory with the subs, of course. Let's step back and talk about the team. It's a little bit of a rarity that a squad starts off week 1 of Summer Split with Worlds on the horizon by saying, yeah, you guys go to Korea. Obviously, Perks being ill is unexpected, but what was the team mentality like coming into summer? When are you guys planning to ramp up and prepare to hopefully defend your throne?
Well, we didn't really have much time to take a break because of MSI and so on. I know that other teams went to bootcamp in Korea and so on, but every team has a different
like approach style prep?
No, not approach. More like anemic state. I'm translating from Spanish here, but it's more about how you can handle like playing 12 hours a day every day. You know, sometimes you need to take a break. Sometimes your like learning spike just gets into a stalemate because you just play for too long and you don't really take a break to like step out, step back in. So what we're trying to do is trying to get a motivation curve where we ramp up slow and build up high and get good at for Summer Split and like most importantly Worlds. So yeah, our plan is to start up slow. Like we haven't scrimmed with the original lineup obviously, and we probably won't be getting much scrims for next week. But yeah, the idea is to not burn out and just take it slow.
I like it. Just get good when it matters. One last question, Mithy. If you remove yourselves from the equation and you look at the other 9 EU LCS teams, does it look or feel like Summer Split will be more competitive than the top 6, bottom 4 we saw in Spring?
Well, the meta right now is very similar to the meta at the end of Spring Split. Looking at, I didn't really see many games, but looking at Fnatic at least, they are playing the same style. They've implemented a few things, but they're playing the same kind of style, which worked for them before, so it's probably going to keep working for them now. I think every team has their style still, so nothing really changed, it feels. But I feel like teams, I mean, the meta is going to change a lot coming to the end of the Spring Split, I mean, Summer Split, sorry. And then it's when we're going to see how teams actually adapt, you know, and fix their macro, because that's really what translates into different metas.
All right, so sort of starting on similar position from Spring, we'll see how they ramp up. Congratulations on the win, picking off some surprises for your fans, and unfortunately probably costing me fantasy, so not happy with that. Anyways, we're going to head to an ad break. When we come back, Unicorns of Love take on Vitality.
It's all right. That's not used yet. Blanc now pushing for a little bit more. Where's the Justice Punch? The Winds of War come in, and that's the double for Blanc. You want a moment to shine, you want a resume moment, it's going to be to steal the Baron, but you're not going to find it. In goes Blanc. Betsy going to miss the scatter of the week. They're looking for more. Lewis goes over the wall. Pride Stalker looking to find the shot. Down comes the Galio, but it's too little, too late. Sven dishing out the damage. Foxy knocks him back, but he's just going to keep firing away. Rat-a-tat-tat. That's the double kill. Blue's getting the double. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Looking to get a little more. That's the triple for Lulex. He wants to make it a quadra. Let's keep it up, folks. Let's follow him down. That's 4 kills.
C'est the first squad.
G2 coming in clutch, ladies and gentlemen. That is the 2-1 victory for G2, starting off on an undefeated season.